9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ninja vanish!
Well, hello.
Well, you're a little fancy looking than that.
Yeah, well, I just got back from the movies. So
it was a date night. Yeah.
It was date night, yeah.
You gotta look dapper on that when you don't try it.
Yeah, so we just got back, and yeah.
I was disappointed. I was telling you right before we showed the church show, a friend of mine invited me. Regal, he's got a Regal Cinema account, one for him, his wife, his daughter. So he gets tickets for like 50 cents.
Yeah,
by paying that subscription fee, whatever it is. And he asked one. It was showing is going to be playing today in Christiansburg, local theater. I went through the website yesterday. I was looking. It's like, yep, sure. It's playing tomorrow. Get there. It's the next city over.
Jesus.
That's like, are you shitting me? Even let him buy the tickets and stuff, and like to watch it.
That's bullshit. They don't fucked up. I guess there's nothing this theater can do. They're like, look, we don't have it.
Yeah.
We'd love to show it to you, but we can't.
So we ended up watching The Killing Game, Dave Bautista's last badass role. Before he was decided to be a skeleton.
Well, he seems to think it's gonna let him get different roles other than the shit he'd been playing. Which, I mean, I get it. Whatever. He looks like, although I saw people posting pictures, and I was like, "Yep, I can see it." He looks like fucking Hugo Strange. Like he totally. There was pictures of like him next to Hugo Strange, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah,
I think he could pull it off.
Or even an egghead.
Yeah. He's because he's still like, I mean, the dude's still like 6'6".
Yeah, he's still tall, but he looks like
a tall dude. And he's still in good shape. He just lost a lot of muscle mass. But yeah. I was like, okay, well, good for you. Do whatever you want to do. Hopefully. I mean, I like Dave Bautista. I think he's
6'4".
Yeah, he's come a long way as an actor in the last 2 years or so.
He's really serious about the acting profession. So the craft.
I mean, I think he's doing a good job. I mean, I've seen several movies where, like, I love that. Like, I love that movie Stuber. That movie Stuber is fucking hilarious, and he's got great comedic timing. I haven't really seen him play anything serious other than action, which isn't really drama, but maybe he can pull it off. I don't know. I mean, hey, do whatever you want to do.
I like that Killing Game was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like the girl that plays his love interest in the movie is like part of the best role I've ever seen her in, because the only thing else I've seen her in was that horrible movie on Netflix.
I don't even know who's in it. I mean, I know he's in it. That's all I know.
Killer's Gang. Sophia, what's her name? Rebel Moon active star.
Oh, her? Oh, dude, she's been around forever. She was in she was in the first Kingsman. She was the assassin with no legs. She was in Star Trek Beyond. She's been in
a lot of other movies. So
yeah, she was in that Mummy movie with Tom Cruise when he was trying to reboot the monster universe and all that shit. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's a good actress. She's the one that I put on my list as one of the 3 people I would pick to play Mystique in like an action movie. If you wanted like a really athletic Mystique.
Yeah, she played a ballet dancer in this, like the special dancer.
Well, that's because she is a ballet dancer. She was a ballet dancer before she started acting. So that's why.
It's a little more realistic too. Like when when Terry Crews's character comes and she tries to fight him, he just knocks her the fuck out.
Yeah.
She's not going to be like this super badass like on Rebel Moon and knock out Terry Crews.
All right. Well, just for everybody out there, we're not going to be doing a long chat tonight because I wasn't even planning on doing a chat. I just got back home from the movies. Saw Transformers 1. Figured we'd talk about that. Maybe a couple other things here real quick. You didn't get to see it, but I know you're watching it now.
Yeah, I've seen the first 18 minutes of it.
There's not much to spoil. It's exactly like it's Optimus Prime and Megatron, and like they're going to end up the good guy and the bad guy. So there's not really anything to spoil. Like that's just a given.
It is a fresh take. It's kind of a fresh take on blending all the different mythologies of Transformers.
And that was the thing is because that was what I noticed, and I was waiting for it to get to the end of the movie to see if they'd be like, "Oh no, this is bullshit," but when it gets to the end of the movie, it's not. So it really is a blending of the Quintesson's origin with the Primus origin mashed together in one. And I thought it worked really well. And I don't know, you tell me, have they ever done that before?
Well, I was very surprised the fact that because with the trailers has shown Quintesson stuff and Quintesson toys. Then at the beginning of the movie, they talk about spoilers, Primus.
Yeah. And I thought, because I knew the Quintessons were in it, I was like, oh, I wonder if what's going to end up happening is in the end they find out Primus was a myth that they used to control the Transformers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not real. No, it's totally real. I mean, it's all real. They just mash them together and no, the Primus stuff is real, but also the Quintesson stuff has happened as well, and they're kind of using them as a slave labor force. So they mixed both origins together, which I thought was cool. I thought it worked really well. Probably, and when you watch it, you'll probably see way more stuff than I did. But
I've already caught a bunch of Easter eggs, different characters.
Yeah, tons of Easter eggs. Like you never see him, but right at the part where you said you're at, where they're on the race, right at the beginning when they're they're flipping through the leaderboards. Mm-hmm. At one point, Blur's name pops up. And so there's lots of little Easter eggs like that. I
was surprised to see Jazz there.
Jazz is there. Ironhide is there. There's several of them that pop up by the end of the movie. Starscream shows up in it, voiced by Steve Buscemi, which you're like, what? But then something happens, and his voice gets all fucked up, and he sounds more like traditional Starscream. That was great. It was really good. I enjoyed it. My wife, who could give a rat's ass about Transformers, fucking loved it. She loved it. She thought it was great. The only thing she said, and I was so proud of her for this, is at the very end of the movie when it's spoiler alert, he's fully Optimus Prime. He says some stuff right at the end of the movie, and she's like, it's just not the same without that voice. And I was like, oh, I love you. And don't get me wrong, as the movie progresses, Chris Hemsworth's voice changes and gets darker and darker, and I think he does a great job. I think he did a great job, but it's still not the same.
Well, I don't know if you know the Easter egg or what the Megatron's name is beforehand, where they call him D16.
Yeah,
that's in Japan, all the Transformers had different names. Different number assignments. Like the Autobots weren't called Autobots, they were called Cybertronians. The Decepticons were called Destrons. And in the series they were released, Megatron was number 16, so classification D16.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And then later on in the movie, they actually do go through and show all the primes, which I don't know all of them.
Well, they've made a lot more up too since.
Yeah, I don't know all of them, but they had a lot of the ones, like they had Megatronus Prime, which I knew was a real one. They also had the one that I don't remember what his name is. Maybe you would know, the one that looks like Galvatron, but he was a Prime.
I can't remember.
I've seen pictures of him before, and I remember seeing a picture one time. It may have been with you, and I was like, that looks like Galvatron. You're like, no, that's who Galvatron's modeled after. That's one of the ancient primes or something like that. I can't remember. But so all the primes are in there. It was cool. It was cool from somebody who knows a little bit about a lot of the Transformers history, not as much as you. It was still cool that even I could pick up on stuff throughout the movie, and I'm like, you'd obviously know way more about it than I would. All the voice acting was done really well. John Hamm did Sentinel Prime, and did a great job on that whole storyline. And I won't spoil what the storyline is. I will, however, say the minute he popped up in that hologram, I was like, oh, clearly he's the bad guy. And I mean, again, if you know anything about Transformers, it's not, it's that's not a spoiler. But it was good, dude. It was a lot of fun. I loved it. My wife loved it. And like I said, she couldn't give a rat's ass about Transformers. Like she's like, she remembers them. I think she, watched cartoon like every kid in the 80s did, but not really anything she gives a shit about. So she loved it. She had a great time. The transformation's done really well. And you haven't gotten to it yet, but they get to the point about what's going on with all the miners and why all the, only certain people can and can't transform. And they get to that. The Quintessons, surprisingly enough, they show up for one scene in the entire movie. One scene. They are talked about a lot. And you see, there's several scenes in the movie where you see their ships, but they only actually show up for one scene, which was fine. I didn't feel like anything was lacking at all. It didn't bother me because honestly, the main big bad is Sentinel Prime in the movie. He's the main bad guy, not the Quintessons. But anyway, I'm trying to think of what I can and can't say without spoiling it. But
that works off like the more modern history of the Transformers, where they made over time the Autobot leadership, like the ruling powers, in the comics, got to be corrupt, and absolute power comes with So
basically, I'll spoil it. Basically, Sentinel Prime is working for the Quintessons. So that's basically what it boils down to, is he's working for them, and he's the one that's basically the slave master on Cybertron.
Back in the day, having Megatron being a slave miner is not new to the lore, but actually having Orion Pax being that was new, because originally all the other lore before Orion Pax was like a librarian.
At what point wasn't he I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I thought before they had made him a librarian, I thought I remembered, tell me if I'm wrong, back in the old cartoon, he was just another
laborer, bot.
Yeah, he was just like a fucking warehouse or whatever. He just
that's in the G1 cartoon. He was Orion Pax was a laborer.
Yeah, because wasn't it all the Autobots were basically factory workers in the original cartoon, and all the Decepticons, they were the soldiers.
Yeah.
Right.
And where they described it in season 3 when after they introduced the Quintessons, the Autobots were considered like consumer goods, and the Decepticons were war goods.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they made them both miners, and they go through. I was kind of surprised, just because usually movies don't do this, especially when you're trying to simplify a story. Makes sense for the story, but a lot of times when they're doing something like this, there may be here's your character now, here's your character when they get whatever. In this case, power armor or whatever, right? You have 2 looks for a character. In this movie, they all have 3, because they go through 3 stages. They've got that where they start at the beginning, then where they're at when they get the cogs, and then Megatron and Prime go through another transformation at the end because of things that I won't spoil for people, where you see them slowly through the course of the movie get closer and closer to what they look like on the show. Yeah. I love the designs too, man. The designs for the Transformers were great. They were really well done.
so far, like I'm not far into it right now, but I like it.
Yeah, the designs were really well done. Like, yeah, everything was top notch, man. I had a ball. Like, I'm hoping they do another one. You know, like I hope this is the beginning of like a fucking franchise, because I would keep going and watching these movies.
Oh,
absolutely. And they totally left it open at the end. Like, they left it open to do more.
Well, it's the best animated thing they've done since Transformers Prime. Everything else since then has been pretty well. I'm not including the live action movies. I'm just talking about the animation, the TV series stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's all been garbage. You had that Netflix trilogy that was just awful. The writing was bad. The character designs were bad. The director of those were like, I want them to look like the toys. It's like, so Megatron had freaking caster wheels on the back from the toy.
Yeah. I tried to watch that show. I think I got maybe an episode or two in, and I was like,
writing on it is just so.
I'm just like, I was not into it at all. I was like, this is not interesting to me at all.
They were trying to be, I don't know, dark and edgy, and they just got to be. It was just shit.
Yeah, it was. And then there's a lot of the Transformers stuff. I mean, I watched the original series.
All the animated since Prime has been very kiddie.
Yeah. I watched the original series. I watched Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and Prime. Those are the animated series I've watched. Mm-hmm. Beast Wars will always be my favorite. Just I love Beast Wars. It was way ahead of its time, and the writing was top notch. It was not written for children.
No,
it was written to a point where children could still appreciate it, and did, but it was not written for kids.
The first season it was a little more kid friendly, but
it was a little bit, yeah. But by the end of the first season, the shit they were getting
it got dark. Well, they killed Primal. Yeah, at the end of the first season. He's dead for several episodes, and Rhinox is able to retrieve his spark from before it passes on to the Allspark and put it in the body. But, he died.
Yeah,
and that was a lot of characters. Well, throughout the series, characters die.
Yeah. I would definitely, I would say though, I mean, it's really, for me, it's hard to compare a movie to a TV show, because TV shows give you so much more time to flesh out stories and characters and things like that. So it's really
when they kill that bot in on Code of Hero. Yeah, like, you felt that.
Oh yeah. But for me, out of this Transformers stuff I've watched, I would say this is the next best thing after Beast Wars. This movie. Oh, like I put it above Prime. I like it better than Prime. Prime was great, but it was also very based on the Michael Bay era of Transformers. And while it was better than what Michael Bay was doing, it had some connections there that were kind of hard to shake. This just feels like, for me, as somebody who didn't get into all the other series,
it's like a fresh take on G1.
Yes, yeah, it is.
It is keeping all the same. It's mixing all the same beats of G1, but in a fresh new package and new storytelling.
Yep.
And I like the fact where they talked about it in Transformers Prime that Megatron and Optimus were buddies, but we never got to see that.
Yeah. And you get to see that for the first 2/3 of this movie. And you really get to see it throughout pretty much the whole movie, except for the very, very end. But Megatron starts to change in the third act. Like, we're, D16 starts to change in the third act, and the third act is where they break up. But yeah, you get to, I mean, for the most part, the whole movie, they're friends. They're taking care of each other. They're watching each other's back and all that. And it's done perfectly well. I mean, it looks great. It was a really good story, really fun, really entertaining. I didn't feel like it was. And what's funny about it is at no point, as much as they put a lot of humor in the trailer, at no point did I feel like it was overboard. Like they were trying too hard to make it funny.
Most of the humor in the trailer.
Yeah, they really did. They really did. They put most of the humor in the fucking trailer.
I was worried. Like I said, I'm only like about the first 20 minutes in, and I don't feel it's like slapstick.
No,
The
it's
trailers
not at
almost have
all.
feeling
There's a
like-
couple moments here and there, but they're the moments from the trailer.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's really good. 2 thumbs up, man. I had so much fun. I hope they make more. I hope this movie makes a lot of money, and they make more of these movies because I'll definitely be interested. This is an era of Transformers I can very much get on board with. If they do more movies that are as fun and entertaining, and you could tell from things like the fact that they found a really good way to meld the Primus stuff with the Quintesson stuff, that they put a lot of effort into the story and creating the world, and while not sticking to any one thing, really trying to honor all the different things that have come around in the past, you know?
This could totally set up like a full-on trilogy type of movies too, because you have Primus transforming into Cybertron. He did that because of Unicron. They were in the comics. They were like entities, like Galactus.
Yeah,
and Primus imprisoned Galactus into not Galactus, the Unicron into the planet, and he reshaped it into a robotic form. Primus did the opposite, kind of like a different route. He put himself into the planet, and he made the Transformers basically kind of in the image of Unicron as a way to eventually battle and stop Unicron.
Yeah. And all of that could still be in this story. They didn't talk about Unicron in this. They didn't touch on that, but they didn't do anything in the movie that takes that out of possibility. They could totally go back and do that story, you know, or whatever. So, yeah, nothing but good things, man. Nothing but good things. It was great, man.
It's like it's not even really. As soon as you see you sitting on Prime Talk, it's like, yeah, this dude's smart.
Oh yeah, the minute he pops up, he's we were off looking for the Matrix of Leadership, and I was like, that dude's clearly a fucking bad guy. Clearly, he's full of shit. So, but so that's not. But again, I don't think that's a surprise. I mean,
he wants to instill joy into everyone.
Yeah, he does. He does. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, dude, I had a lot of fun. Everybody should go watch this movie. It comes out officially next week. Go watch the movie. You'll be glad you did, because it was great, man. It was just good fun. I think whether you are a hardcore Transformers fan or just a casual viewer or whatever, maybe you only know the Michael Bay stuff, you'll like it no matter what. So I like it a lot, man. I kind of want to just now watch it again on the website just to watch it again now that I've seen it at the movies. You know,
it's a rough cam. It's got the slot machine stuff. Ads.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna play around with it, but yeah. Other than that, man.
Well, we already got plans to go watch it officially in the theater next Saturday, so watch a good copy of it.
Yeah.
Plus, supporting the movie, and
oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, movies like that, you know, I don't feel bad at all. I want them to get my money at that point. You know what I mean? So yeah. So good for them, man. Who made this movie, by the way? I didn't even check like what studio made this.
I think it's Paramount. They got like a sub company that did it. Like it's all like the production company. Paramount's the parent company, and whatever animation studio did like I did like they had the actor that does like the substitute teacher on Keenan and Peele reading the names.
Oh yeah, Michael Key. Yeah. Oh, he did great as Bumblebee. And I like you haven't got to it yet, but when they introduce him, it's a different take on Bumblebee than I have seen in a while. But like that's because it's a version of Bumblebee that I don't ever remember seeing that version of Bumblebee that early in the timeline before. And so he's kind of like, yeah, he's well. You watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. He's been through some shit. He's a little off his rocker, but by the end of the movie, he starts to kind of come around because yeah, he's basically been punished for a long ass fucking time. So he's a little off when you first meet him. He's a little and they keep him going, and he's got some great scenes too in the third act when he gets all powered up and shit. He's got some great stuff that they get for him, and yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, I know that shit was great, and it's not that plays in a lot more, but yeah,
But mine just me like a pre-order thing for like the Mafex Superboy is like, yeah, I've had that pre-ordered at Hobby Link Japan probably like December last year. It's like a little late to the game there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I loved it. I loved it. But there's not much to say about it. We'll talk about it more next week after you get a chance to go see it, and everybody's had a chance to see it, and then we can talk some spoilers and shit. Maybe
we're going to see it at 1:40 next week on Saturday. Plus, I'll finish watching it on the website too.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more next week. I don't want to spoil it for everybody. Everybody should go see it when they get a chance to. The only other big like geek news this week was the Venom trailer, which I know we talked about on the show last night. But for those that weren't there, goddamn, that trailer was great. It got me pumped up.
It's what's the second type of like a should have been. Rated R, like gritty, dark.
Yeah.
It is just so stupid making the second movie PG-13.
Yeah, I don't know. I could understand the first movie. Like if they had, okay, whatever. Introduction, blah, blah, blah. But this with Carnage, it just didn't make it. Look, like I've said before, I still like that movie. I still have fun with that movie. But they really dropped the ball when it comes to not really giving it a chance to like really delve into how brutal Carnage is. So,
well, the entire tagline, what we kept saying in the second movie, Venom is the lethal protector.
Yeah,
he's eating bad guys' heads.
Yeah,
in the first movie.
I did like though, if you notice, like there's scenes from the new trailer where he's totally just murdering people. So there was that one scene where he grabs those three dudes and he goes bites off all their heads and shit. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, it looks good, and I'm looking forward to Norman Reedus as Noel. I got excited, man. I was like, oh fuck, they're dropping Noel in here.
Noel is someone that's like even more badass in the comics. They made him more badass than Thanos.
Yeah,
and
there is a rumor, and this goes to something you told me the other day, that Sony is actually doing a redirect on Spider-Man 4 because of Noel. That they are going to have Noel be in Spider-Man 4. There is apparently the early reactions and people who've seen the final cut of Venom 3 are like, it's fucking great, and we got to keep this going, and we're not doing any more Venom movies, but we've got Spider-Man 4. And so they are rewriting the script to include Noel and Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 4. And that it will, I don't know how that's going to work.
I wonder if they could change cross universes like that. That's how
that's the thing, is they're saying it's going to, much like the last one, be a multiverse story, but just crossover with the one universe.
Well, with Venom 3, they could be the only way to stop Noel is just kick him out of that universe.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see, man. Because that
gets dragged along.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty, because originally what
since Noel has the ability, like basically he's the creator of the symbiotes, he could feel the touch of the other universe on Venom.
Yeah,
and leave to go there.
Yeah.
because he's that powerful. He can actually cross over universes if you want to.
Yeah. I don't know. Originally, though, Kevin Feige was trying to get Sony to basically do Spider-Man 4 as a small story where he wrote a treatment. Apparently, Kevin Feige wrote a treatment for Sony for Spider-Man 4, and it was a smaller story where it is Spider-Man, now that nobody knows who he is anymore after the last movie, it's Spider-Man teaming up with Daredevil to go after Kingpin. That's what Kevin Feige wanted, which I would be okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently, like I said, Sony's like, yo, this Venom 3 is awesome. We got to keep this going. And so
I'm totally down for more smaller street level movies.
Yes.
Which I know you like the Shang-Chi, but I think if they went the original style for Shang-Chi in the comics, that would have worked too. A street level hero.
Yes. Oh, I agree. Yeah, I like Shang-Chi. It's a movie that I've grown to like more and more every time I see it. But I completely agree.
Yeah, Shang-Chi could have been like their getting like a James Bond like type character because he works for MI6. But he betrayed his father, the Assassins League, on his first mission to assassinate somebody. He betrayed them and went and joined the MI6 to help take down his father.
Yep.
Who's not the Mandarin in the comics.
He is somebody way more racist.
Yes. Fu Manchu.
But yeah, no, I don't know. We'll see. I'm very excited for Venom 3.
I think Fu Manchu is still immortal in the comics, though.
Huh?
I think he's immortal too, though. So
as much as I read comics in the 80s and 90s, I can maybe remember one or two comics that I actually read that even mentioned Fu Manchu.
The new people starts repronouncing Shang-Chi to Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Well, growing up, it's always been Shang-Chi. So
I mean, like I don't really give a shit, to be honest. So, people say it however they want. Like I get with something like that where it's like, okay, it's a legitimate Chinese name that if you're going to transfer it from American comics to a movie that's going to be seen by people in China and played by people who are actually Chinese. Okay, fine. Say it however they would say it. I get it. It doesn't bother me either way. You know, because it's like, okay, well, us reading American comics, Shang-Chi, like that's how you would say it. But whatever. At least it's not like Mafex. Shut the fuck.
Yeah.
Shut up with your Mafex.
In the comics, his father is a powerful sorcerer with several magic-based abilities, including striking, moving, human target, blah, 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 blah. It's just prolonged longevity. So he is very old. So, and he's had different aliases, so they could have totally just had the. But I know they want to work in the Mandarin thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mandarin thing was the Mandarin thing was disappointing to me. I think because I don't know, like I wanted more for the Mandarin than that in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that making the Mandarin Shang-Chi's father was bad. It's that we got him in one story and then he fucking immediately was gone by the end of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, okay, no, we need it's fucking Mandarin. He's one of the first Marvel villains. He needs to stick around. You don't just use him for one story, one and done.
Yeah.
You know?
AK is like, reading about him on Wikipedia is about how everyone knows about him. Nobody read his comics.
Like I said, so if you're talking about Fu Manchu, like, yeah, I fucking, like I said, reading comics in the 80s and 90s, I think I might remember like maybe two storylines where he was even mentioned. You know what I mean? He just wasn't, that character was just not a thing by the 80s. He was just not some character that showed up in comics and things like that. I was aware of who he was, but that was it. And I don't remember going back. And I used to read old comics and stuff, but I don't remember going back. I think actually that's not true. I might have read like an Avengers comic from the 60s he was in or something. No, was it Avengers? I can't remember what it was. I might have read some Silver Age comic at some point that he might have been in or something. But
I went through like the Marvel fan Wikipedia. Looks like they turned Shang-Chi into the MCU version in the comics. He's got the 10 rings and all that nonsense.
Oh, currently now in Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, okay. Fine, I guess, but he's got the actual like Marvel Comics 10 rings, right?
Yeah, no, the bands. But if you let me share a screen, I can show you.
Let's see. But those are not the Mandarin's rings, though, right?
No, but he's got the MCU rings.
So what do they call them in the comics? What are those fucking rings in the comics?
Paraphernalia. 10 rings. Utilizes the 10 rings granted him widely advised. That's what they call them. But that's not the Mandarin's 10 rings. The 10 rings of the Mandarins are on his fingers. Where's Mandarin? There's the Mandarin rings.
Yeah.
That was the 10 rings. Forever. The 10 rings of the Mandarin.
So there are different 10 rings.
Yep.
The 10 bracelets. That's what they are.
The 10 bangles.
Yeah, there you go. The 10 bangles. I remember when they were doing that it felt like for a while that they were trying to tie, because they did it with I thought they did it with Mandarin's rings, they did it with Ms. Marvel's bangles. They did it with several things. Like they were trying to tie all these things together, like they all might have had some common origin, like all these quote unquote mystical items that were showing up on Earth all had some common origin. And then it feels like they just fucking decide, like when the MCU started going to shit, they were like, oh, fucking, well, we're just not going to address that anymore. It's like, okay, well, that might have been an interesting story. Where did all these mystical items fucking come from? You know what I mean? That'd have been a better fucking story for Doctor Strange too. Maybe Baron Mordo's going around collecting all these fucking mystical powered things. We know that the Tajma, whatever the fuck it's called, they already collected all these mystical items, right? So maybe now Baron Mordo's continuing that, collecting them on his own, and we get a little bit of an origin story of where all these mystical items actually come from. And then Doctor Strange, like, you know what I mean? Like they drop these little clues and hints, and then they just drop shit. It's like, oh, okay, well, we're not ever talking about that again. Like, we totally should have got fucking Shang-Chi 2 by now. You know? Like, and there was all that big push.
But they had a push.
Like, oh, is he going to be in the Avengers now? Like, he would have been a great Avenger.
I think they wasted so much time working on developing like the Disney Plus stuff, and they kind of like let the movies shit to bed.
Yeah,
they should have been focusing more on like the movies, like what made them popular.
Yeah.
Then they did all this Disney Plus stuff. They made it like basically you had to do homework to go watch the movies. You had to go watch the Disney Plus series to know what the hell's going on.
And look, I like some of the Disney Plus series. Loki's great. I really liked Hawkeye, the one season we got.
Don't make the movies reliant on watching the shows.
But I feel like you could have done so much.
You know what I think was Deadpool.
You know what I think? I watched, and I wanted to do a video on this, but it would take so much time, and I just don't have much time and energy to put into a video. There would have been a really easy way to make, with just some simple reshoots and some editing, you could have made the Eternals a much better movie. And on top of that, I also think it was an incredible waste that you went to all the trouble. And look, the movie was not good. It had so many issues, but you spent so much time setting up the Eternals and all the things with the Celestials and everything else being such a big deal in the MCU, and then you just dropped it. Like, instead of taking that failure and saying, fuck it, take that failure and make something good out of it. Keep going. Bring those characters back. Bring back the Celestials. What were some of those ideas you fucking had? Yeah, the Eternals movie didn't work. A lot of people didn't like it. But there was still some good ideas in there and things that could have been developed to do more cool stuff with other characters like Shang-Chi and some of these other characters. And an Avengers movie and, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, they just got so fucking gun shy every time something wasn't like a fucking $500 billion movie or $500 million movie, right? They'd be like, oh, fuck it, drop it, walk away, walk away. It's like, well, dude, I get that y'all had a good 10-year run, right? But every franchise deals with fuck-ups. And you don't just dump something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't just dump something. Like, take the good stuff from it and roll that into the next thing. Like they in whatever it was, everything after Endgame. What was that? Fucking Phase 4 or whatever the fuck they were calling it, right? Like there was genuinely like some really cool stuff that they set up. Not necessarily the movies and the stories themselves, but like they set up some cool stuff. There was some cool things in Eternals that could have been used later on. There was definitely cool things in Shang-Chi that could have been used later on. There was even cool stuff in Ms. Marvel, the TV show, that could have been used later on. Now, I maintain that Ms. Marvel is not a bad show. It's just a fucking teenage girl show. Like, it's a show written for, like, 15-year-old girls. And if you were of that audience, it was a perfectly good show.
Yeah. This was the original plan for Phase 4. And we didn't get the Blade movie. We didn't get the Fantastic Four. This was way late. And they completely rechanged the name of it too. They called it the Marvels. Then you got your Disney Plus show. Holiday special with the Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty good.
Oh, that was great, dude. That's become my like favorite new fucking Christmas show to watch.
Yeah, they kidnapped Kevin Bacon.
Fuck yeah, that show's great.
Black Widow was kind of a meh movie. It should have came out when they were before.
Dude, if it had come out before Endgame,
yes,
it
that's what should have been released instead of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was unnecessary. Captain Marvel only made money because they lied to everybody because they told you need to watch this movie to know what's going to happen in Endgame.
Yeah, and you totally did not. There was nothing you needed to see in that movie. Absolutely not one single thing.
What we would have been good to see was what's going on with the Black Widow during the blip.
Mm-hmm.
That would have made more sense.
Yep. Well, they could have just made, like, you know, I mean, that's what that fucking movie was. And they could have just, like, I don't know. There's just a lot of really big mistakes they fucking made.
Endgame was your last movie. Once she died in Endgame, we don't really care.
No, you don't. It sucks to say because she's still a good character, but like she's dead. I don't need to see a prequel story about her.
Hasbro don't get the thing too. Like with Rogue One, great movie. Don't give a shit about any of the toys because all the characters are dead.
Yeah, like good movie, good story. Don't really care. Like I don't need collectibles for that shit.
Yeah.
It's
like, oh, let me reenact when they all get atomized.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, you know, and I love that fucking movie. I don't have any of that shit. So
nobody wanted that movie, anything from that movie because they didn't sell, and they keep reissuing figures from that movie.
Oh yeah, dude! I went to Ollie's today. They had a fuck ton of fucking Rogue One stuff there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, and I was looking at it going, well, I like that character. I like that character. I just really don't want these.
Yeah, I was looking at them too. It's like they had like the Asian guy with the big machine gun thing.
Yep, they had him. They had what's his name, Bodhi,
pilot. And yeah, something else too. But I don't care. They should have let a couple of characters live, and because they had some good characters.
Yeah. Although, you know what, I will say, they as far as like when it comes to doing prequels type stuff, and I don't know if it's because it's Star Wars and the idea of prequels is not something that is unusual to Star Wars fans. Unlike, I don't give really a shit about a Black Widow prequel once I know she's dead.
Yeah.
But I think Andor is a great fucking show.
Hmm.
The first season of Andor was fucking, even though I know he's dead. But
Rogue
that first
One,
season was fucking fantastic.
Well, Rogue One was already like a story of telling about dead characters, so
Yeah.
Which I didn't think I'd like as much, because when they announced the movie, I didn't care, because like in the very first movie, like a lot of people died to get us these plans. I was like, okay, you just told me the story. They all died. Yeah. But on this phase 4, there was like the Disney Plus stuff. They didn't make all that either. The WandaVision was okay, which I just kind of waste of a character though. To like basically the entire series was basically to break Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I like the show. However, the show didn't need to be made, and that was the thing. Like I found the way it was filmed and doing the first 3 or 4 episodes as like throwbacks to old television shows and stuff. As somebody who grew up on I Love Lucy and Bewitched and all this stuff, like I liked that a lot, and I thought the way the show was filmed was very clever, and I thought it was an enjoyable show. However, it was a very unnecessary.
The payoff was shit, because the whole point of the show was like we got to bring back the Vision, then we haven't seen them since.
Yeah.
They restored the Vision's memories. They put them back together, restored his memories, and that's what I thought the whole point of the show was. And plus, Wanda gets a little power boost. Then they did Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness. They made her evil.
Yeah, but they made her evil and then fucking killed her.
Yeah, killed her off, and had her kill a bunch of heroes.
Yeah,
she killed a lot of people. Love and Thunder was shit, but Black Panther ruined Namor. I'm sorry, it wasn't Namor. It's Namor.
Namor.
What? I have no problem with them changing Namor's like race, but why Aztec? Why not go with an Asian thing? Because Namor looks Asian.
The thing that pissed me off the most, like, and yes, I mean, I've been saying for fucking years, because I'm a huge fan of specifically Jay Lee's art for Namor back in the 90s. Although John Byrne, who started that, did a great fucking job too. That whole 80s to 90s Namor series was awesome. But Daniel Day Kim, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect Namor. Perfect fucking Namor. Daniel Day Kim, I have said, would be a perfect Namor for fucking 20 years. I remember when he was back on Lost. And I was like, that dude looks like fucking Namor.
AK is like saying they already met their Asian quota.
Yeah, apparently. But then the other thing I hated about it was by making it the way they did the backstory and everything, like it wipes out fucking the important and long history of Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're only a few hundred years. They became this thing a few hundred years ago during the conquistadors and shit. It's like, okay, no, Atlantis is older than the Egyptian fucking dynasties, right? Yeah. Like Atlantis was the ancient fucking race in Marvel Comics. They were, an old, powerful fucking race of people that had been around. Remember them and the Lemurians and all this, like. Mm-hmm. And then you're just like, oh no, it was a bunch of people who, I don't even remember what the fuck it was that made it to where they could breathe underwater, but it was like back, a few hundred years ago during the conquistadors and shit. It's like, okay, what?
It's almost did they get the writers of Futurama at this when like Georgia fell into like the ocean?
Yeah. It was fucking weird, and it was such a letdown that they just fucking wiped out. They didn't even say the word Atlantis. They didn't imply it was Atlantis.
Like, the whole thing, because it's like, well, DC already did Atlantis with Aquaman. Yeah, because Atlantis is an actual real mythology in
Yeah,
the
that's
real
what.
world.
Like, yeah, you can
do
other
it more
people
than
can
one
do it too.
Yeah, it's like DC Comics actually has Norse gods and Greek gods. They show up every now and then. Hercules
Yeah.
has shown up. There's even a Thor.
Yeah, it's not like they fucking shied away from throwing Hercules in the end of Love and Thunder just because Wonder Woman already came out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, why did you fucking just get rid of Atlantis? And that was part of what made the Atlanteans cool. Is they've fucking been around forever. They was an extremely advanced civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wiped all that fucking out. It's like, oh, okay, well. That was the biggest disappointment to me. Other than that, the movie itself, I thought the second one was better than the first one. I thought Wakanda Forever had a better story. And I did not think at all that I was going to like, what's her face? Shuri, thank you. I thought she did a great job.
I'm surprised they brought her back because she was like, they were talking about like getting rid of her like she did like Gina Carano because she was anti-vax and
yeah, she was she's not woke, PC, fucking whatever.
She's very Christian.
Yeah. And I thought not only did they bring her, she was a second tier character in the first movie. And not only did they bring her back, but they made her the main character of the movie. And I thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
I still don't like that they killed off Black Panther. I don't like what they did with Atlantis and Namor. But I thought the Wakanda side of the story and her worked fucking great. I thought she did a great job being the lead of that movie. I was very impressed. I did not think it would work. I did not know whether or not. I mean, I've seen her in the first Black Panther movie, and I had seen her in an episode of Black Mirror. Like, that was the only two things I knew her from. I had no idea if she was a good actress at all. And she carried that fucking movie pretty well. So I was kind of impressed by that. And I did like the movie. I think the movie was a good movie, but it fucked up so much shit that I wanted for Atlantis. And I will never be okay with them killing fucking T'Challa off. Like even the actor said he didn't want the character killed off. The actor said,
and they agreed to that too before he died. Then they're like, well, by the fact them killing them off, it's like, well, you just lied to for a dying man's wishes.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all pretty shit to do that. He thought the character was too important to be tied to one person.
Yeah.
The character,
and he's right.
Yeah. Which, out of these, Black Widow's meh, Eternals was shit. I like the Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man movie's good. Multiverse of Madness was such a fucking letdown because, and we've talked about this before, but I swear to God, if that was a movie, I have loved Sam Raimi since I first saw Evil Dead, probably in like, I don't know, 80. I probably saw it for the first time when I was about 10 years old. So that would have been about 87. And I know that dude's movies inside and out. I know we've saw what he did with the Spider-Man movies. You've seen what he's done his entire career, whether he was doing TV movies, whatever. And I watched that movie and I go, this was studio interference. If they had let that motherfucker just run with the movie and do what he wanted
they should let him do it. Just a Doctor Strange 2 with him facing off Mordo and let him just run with it. Just be like, hey, do what you want to do. Have fun. Make a Sam Raimi movie set up. Yeah. We got no payoff.
Yep.
And I'm sorry too. It's like Bruce Campbell's April Fool's like teaser thing was a much better thing than what they ever did.
Yeah.
He did April Fool's that Ash shows up in the movie. And Dr. Strange has asked them about the Darkhold, and Ash is like asking them like, "Does it have a face?" Yeah, it's like people would have loved that. Would have went crazy. Of course, Sam Raimi probably wouldn't want to do that too, because then Marvel try to claim Ash.
And he's had enough fights with studios about fucking Ash.
Yeah,
because of everything they did with Army of Darkness, but
they turned Thor into a slapstick movie, which good. If what they're saying, what Hemsworth said is true, good for him because he said he won't do another Thor movie unless they made him serious again.
Yeah,
get rid of the slapstick because they made him an idiot slapstick character. And in the first movie, they were touching on like their stuff was based on like advanced technology, just looked like magic. And he was actually very smart. Just different mannerisms, different culture. Captain Marvel 2 didn't happen. It would happen with Changes of Marvels, and that movie was just garbage. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, probably my favorite of the bunch.
fucking great.
Blade 3 didn't happen. Quantumanium was a meh
Oh
movie.
my god, movie was fucking awful.
Yeah. That Fantastic Four, of course, didn't happen. We got WandaVision. Falcon Winter Soldier was mostly shit.
Oh,
But John Walker did no wrong. Loki, great.
love Loki.
What If was meh.
I like What If.
Didn't watch these two. This was garbage.
Ms. Marvel, well, like I said, was good. I watched it with my daughter, and at watching it, it was like, okay, this is a Disney Channel show. You know, the Disney Channel show does stuff for 12 to 16-year-old kids. That's what that show was. And it was done well and had good special effects. And as a dad watching it with my daughter, I could appreciate this is a good show, but it's not for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is for my daughter. And in that aspect, I thought it worked. Hawkeye, I fucking love Hawkeye. That's my second favorite one.
I've heard it's good, and I heard Moon Knight's good.
Moon Knight's very good too.
She-Hulk was garbage.
Yep.
Secret Invasion was garbage.
Yep. Ironheart.
These two didn't happen. Is that the short
Groot
story?
was just like, that was just like little shorts on Disney Plus, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Like Groot growing up or something like that. Baby Groot stories. Holiday Special was great.
Yep.
Now what's Phase 5? That's the new phase, right? They've changed it now. Season 2. Marvel. Well, this is updated because Guardians here now. Then Loki Season 2. The Marvel crap. Yeah. They are doing Ironheart, which is, I don't know why, because nobody gives a shit about that character. Nobody's liked that character in the comics, but they're going to put it in the movies. Like, we're bringing it in there. Agatha. I think it's going to be a shit show.
We'll see. I'm going to watch it because if they do what they should do, which is just make it a all-in-one, kind of self-sustaining story that doesn't affect anything else, and it's just a story about Agatha getting her powers back, which is what the trailer made it look like, it could be decent. Don't connect it with anything else. Don't make it something you have to watch before you watch some movie. Just do a one-off story about the character, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah, the Echo series.
Echo in general was shit. Kingpin was good in it, though.
Loki Season 2 was that made watching the ending of Loki 2 made worth watching the entire show.
Yeah.
But you need to watch the entire series. He grows as a character. It's like he got everything he ever wanted, but it's also a curse. It's like, damn, that was such a good ending. Blade just needs to scrap that and bring Wesley Snipes back.
That's the rumors. So we'll see.
Well, they scrapped everything with Daredevil and started over. So
maybe it'll be good. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the first run was just absolute garbage. Well, from my understanding, he wasn't even Daredevil the first 3 or 4 episodes. They killed off Foggy and what's the redhead girl?
Karen? Is her name Karen?
Yeah. They killed him off screen. And he's in mourning home. So, yeah, they scrapped the entire thing and started over, and they're back, I think, now. And he's going to be Daredevil. He's Daredevil. You got they had the same writers doing She-Hulk doing that show, and I think they fired them all because they clearly don't know how to write lawyers.
Yeah.
They did not know how the law worked whatsoever. When you can tell by when they were trying to do like lawyer speak with She-Hulk, it's like, that's not how the law works. If you're going to do like a procedural show, hire people that can actually write that, like people that wrote Law and Order. But let's see, we got Captain America, New World Order.
I'm mildly looking forward to Captain America, but don't really expect much out of it.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Fantastic Four could be fun. It's the really all these movies are shows are throwaway movies until Secret War.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting King Dynasty no more. That's over. That got when he's had to slap around his girlfriend. That ended King.
Yeah.
But which I never liked King as a villain. So I don't really. We talked about it last night with the toys. It's like I just don't like the character. He's not that interesting. Dr. Doom is interesting.
Well, and Doctor Doom makes way more sense going into Secret Wars.
Yep. What's this? Phase 6. Is this real?
None of that shit's gonna happen. None of that shit's gonna fucking happen.
No, that's not real. Or there's Silver Surfer movie. I don't. Some of this stuff I don't think's real at all. That's probably looking at stuff on the internet.
It's just wishful thinking, is what that shit is.
Yeah. There's Nova Corps. There's a Ghost Rider. Hercules, Young Avengers, Vision Quest. Where is the Vision? I want to find out what's going on with the White Vision. And I bet he likes that white makeup better too than that red makeup.
Probably.
I've heard issues like when they wear makeups for so long it causes like issues. Farscape, Zan, all that blue makeup they put on her. That's one of the reasons why she left. Like it's the show was like it was causing health issues.
Well, yeah, and then she like fucking died of cancer.
I've heard like some of them like where they put that makeup on so long, they'll urinate the color out. It soaks through their body. Horrifying. Now that stuff, it's like this, just like wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phase 4 is the only thing that's really like concrete. Phase 4 starting 5.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I said we were only going to go for about an hour, and I gotta get all these damn clothes. I got some shit.
Definitely go watch Transformers.
Yeah, everybody should go watch Transformers. It was fucking great. But
I'm only 20 minutes in, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. But all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys back on Monday on the NEA channel, and then you got your chat tomorrow night, and then we'll be back again for Toy Talk on Friday. So that is it.
I got fun too with my Rage torso. I cleared it after I did the water slides. Front looks great, beautiful, no issues. For some reason, the back crinkled.
Oh.
It's like, are you kidding me? So I got to sand it and smooth it back out and hit it again. Sand it, repaint it, smooth it. Which most of it's not going to be seen anyway when he's got his vest on. So,
yeah. We'll see. I got after we get out of here, I'm going to talk to you about this one because I got some questions about this. But we're going to get out of here, guys. We will see you guys next time. So take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I don't know, whatever. Get the fuck out of here. Go home. Something.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. We'll see you guys later. Take it easy.
Later.